Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 27th of October. So, looking at the euro dollar and, well, Dr. Draghi, or Dr. Doom as we prefer to call him, managed to do his usual and kill the euro. Now, he was trying his best to be quite neutral in his stance, and yet it failed and the market saw through it all. And effectively now we've seen this lower high coming in. It's put lower lows in and really looks relatively bearish, and we could, certainly bearish on the short term. We could well see a continuation of this, maybe down to the S2, and maybe looking a long way away instead of having seen the previous month. But the way it's breaking out, we often see this in technical analysis in markets where it's been pretty consolidated and then they take a decent break. Now, even if we broke for, I've drawn this sort of area, ranging area that had been sitting in for well over a month there. I drew that on a day or so ago, and we could see the sort of depth of that move at least, which would probably take us down to, even if it's into next month, into this month's S2 sort of area. So that's a possibility. Short term, will we get a retrace? Well, possibly. Again, it's sort of got oversold on many different indicators, I should imagine, out there as it's run here, and it may be safer to wait for the retracement to sell into than trying to catch the bottom at the moment. But I'm sure there'll be signals sitting there, and there is certainly a divergence on the hourlies here. Nothing on the bigger time frames that I can see at the moment, but certainly on the hourlies there was some divergence coming through into the early Asian session there. Although that's selling off, maybe we get a double divergence here, but it is looking weak, of course, and well, as I say, we'll have to play this one as it comes through. The 60-21s, if it can get there, may be an opportunity to sell back in. Again, when this sort of thing happens, sometimes you just get an immediate recovery, like what we saw with the pound, or retracement, should I say, and the following day. But here we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. Talking of the pound, let's have a look at the pound then. And well, the pound gave back yesterday everything it made the previous day nearly, and it's certainly given back all of it now, running into this morning through the Asian session here. So dollar strength coming through these markets. Now we have got the advanced GDP. It's the only real data out this afternoon at 1:30 UK time. So we've got that out, which expected to come in less than previous. The previous was upgraded to 3.1. It's expected to come in around about 2.6. Now they're notorious for they've got more beans to count than us, those bean counters. So they're notoriously out on the first opportunity. So it's anyone's guess where the pound dollar is going to do this afternoon. But for now, it's certainly strengthening. And we've seen it in the euro, we're seeing it in the pound here. The pound really just followed the track. It was just, in fact, at some points it was just running a little bit quicker through yesterday, and finding an easier route down. But as I said, it gave back all it previously made. Now, whether we'll see this euro, I'd be surprised to see it quite so quick as this, but things happen. You can see how quickly yesterday it pulled back to the cable, pulled back to its 21s. But this is a case of where you watch it. I mean, again, there was divergence at the highs there through the Asian session. Again, it had a pivot to target, but it just cut straight through them. And it's a case of watching today. If either of these markets come back, whether it just runs straight through the 60-21s and powers up, or whether it just reacts to those, and then it gives us an opportunity to maybe short. Here again, possibly there were some minor divergences throughout this sort of movement down through the late UK, through the US session there into the Asian session. There may be divergences again this morning, but at the moment it does look weak. I wouldn't be wanting to try yet to catch anything in terms of divergences, although we have got the daily pivots above. Okay, the dollar yen. Well, the yen's moved relatively modestly yesterday, still pushing up, looking towards Actually, I put it on the weekly chart. Never quite got into that weekly level yet. It's looking like it wants to get back to that level of 114, about 40 odd, maybe 50. You can see actually on here it's 114.50. Just put it in the right sort of place. 50. There you go. That'll do. Heading back towards that, it'll be interesting to see if we get resistance. We've already had a sort of a pre move as we pull back towards the rising daily 8 here. So it may just push on upwards there and break it this time. But there's certainly got some potential for some continuation in this move, although that is the early resistance point at the 114.50 area. Okay, so not much difference on the 4-hourly or hourly here. Let's just check. There's potentially some divergence to come through here as it hits the R1 area this morning. But again, I think with all these markets now, if you're trying to get into play the long side where we need a reasonable retrace, there's ever the 21 sort of area is logical. Just need to watch this morning. There may be some divergence plays to be made, but I'd prefer to see some confirmed movements from those divergences if there is anything. Okay, Aussie dollar again sold off, broke through the sort of key 200 there, which I wondered if it would, and it has. It sort of bounced on it for a little while, teased, but it's breaking down. Maybe the 500's the next target on that pairing. Oil prices seem to be dropping, so I was told yesterday, so there we go. It looks weak all the way through this market again. There's the potential to run into the 60s with the Aussie. We could even get back to the daily pivot. Potentially it's missed it the previous 2 days. Got the potential to get back up there. Needs to break this 60-minute 8 to even give any signs of it, and then of course it's got the 60-minute 21s to battle with. Now the way the dollar strength is coming through, it may just be 3 in a row that we miss here. We'll just see how it plays out through the day. Now of course that could all change when the GDP comes out at 1:30 this afternoon. And the Canadian dollar just carried on pushing through here yesterday, just slowing down a little bit in terms of the depth of the range of the movement yesterday compared to the previous day when the rates were left alone. Looks like the 200 could well be on in sights now. In its sights, it's run out through the weekly R3 already. Now all of these markets are sort of pushing up strong. There's the potential for them to pull off back, as I say, towards their 21s. Maybe there's pivots sitting everywhere, but I think it's a case of just sitting and waiting, see what sets up here. Again, there may be divergence plays on some of these. Sorry, I've come right down to a 5-minute here. There's 60 minutes, fair enough. But there's certainly no divergence plays on the Canadian dollar at the moment. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.